You're nothing but a dreamer, Liza. Nobody's going to pay for something they can get for free online. That's what my sister Jessica said to me at our family's annual 4th of July barbecue in front of 30 relatives while I stood there holding the prototype I'd spent 8 months developing. What she didn't know was that I had already filed the provisional patent 3 weeks earlier. What she also didn't know was that her decision to steal my idea and rush it to market would become the biggest mistake of her life. Because 18 months later, I would be sitting across from her in a federal courthouse, watching her face turn pale as the judge awarded me $12 million in damages for patent infringement. I'd love to know which corner of the globe you're watching from. And if this story speaks to you, make sure to subscribe. Tomorrow's video is one you absolutely can't miss. The humidity hung thick over my parents' backyard in suburban Phoenix. That July afternoon, the kind of oppressive heat that makes everything feel slower and more intense than it should. The smell of charcoal and mesquite wood drifted from the grill where my father was holding court with his usual audience of neighbors and business associates, discussing real estate development projects and commercial property investments with the confidence of a man who had never questioned whether his perspective on success was the only valid one. My mother had transformed the covered patio into her typical magazine-worthy entertaining space, complete with color-coordinated table, settings, artfully arranged flower arrangements, and a buffet spread that looked like it belonged in a catering company's promotional materials. She moved through the gathering with practiced grace, ensuring everyone felt welcomed and comfortable while maintaining the kind of effortless social coordination that had made her a sought-after event planner for Phoenix's most exclusive charity, Functions. The guest list represented the usual collection of family members, longtime family friends, and business connections who had been attending these gatherings for as long as I could remember. Uncle Frank held his predictable position near the beer cooler, entertaining anyone within earshot with stories about his construction company's latest commercial projects. Aunt Margaret supervised the dessert table with military precision, ensuring that her famous peach cobbler received appropriate recognition and praise from every person who approached the sweets display. My cousins had claimed the pool area, their children splashing and shrieking with the kind of uninhibited joy that only summer afternoons can produce. The sound of their laughter mixed with adult conversations about business ventures, vacation plans, and local politics, creating the familiar soundtrack of family gatherings that had defined my childhood summers in this same backyard. Jessica arrived fashionably late as always, making her entrance with the kind of calculated timing that maximized attention and social impact. She wore a designer sundress that probably cost more than my monthly rent, her hair styled in the kind of effortless waves that actually require considerable professional attention to achieve. Her husband, Marcus, followed behind her, carrying their contribution to the potluck feast while she worked the crowd with the practiced charm that had served her well throughout her career in pharmaceutical sales. Their success was unmistakable and well documented. Jessica had built an impressive career through systematic advancement within one of the industry's most competitive companies, earning recognition for sales performance that consistently exceeded ambitious targets while building relationships with medical professionals who controlled prescription decisions worth millions of dollars annually. Marcus had established himself as a respected financial advisor, managing investment portfolios for high-net-worth individuals who trusted his analytical capabilities and strategic planning expertise. Their lifestyle reflected this professional achievement through visible markers that communicated success according to conventional metrics. The luxury sedan parked in my parents' driveway, the expensive jewelry that caught sunlight as Jessica moved through conversations, the casual references to recent vacations in destinations that required significant financial investment to access. Everything about their presentation communicated competence, achievement, and social status that aligned perfectly with family expectations about what successful adult lives should look like. I had positioned myself at a small table near the garden area, away from the main social clusters, but close enough to participate in family conversations when appropriate. The prototype sat in its protective carrying case beside my chair, a device that represented 8 months of intensive research, development, and refinement work that had consumed most of my free time and available financial resources. The project had begun as a personal frustration with existing solutions to a problem that affected millions of people, but had never been addressed through thoughtful technology application. Traditional approaches were either prohibitively expensive, inconveniently complex, or simply ineffective for the majority of people who needed practical solutions that could integrate seamlessly into busy daily routines. My background in biomedical engineering provided the technical foundation for understanding both the scientific principles and practical implementation challenges involved in developing innovative healthcare technology. The master's degree from Arizona State University had included extensive coursework in medical device development, regulatory compliance requirements, and commercial product development strategies that prepared me for navigating the complex intersection of scientific innovation and business viability. However, the transition from academic understanding to practical application had proven more challenging and time-consuming than any university program could have prepared me for. Real-world product development required understanding manufacturing constraints, cost optimization strategies, user experience design principles, and market positioning considerations that theoretical coursework had only briefly addressed. I'd love to know which corner of the globe you're watching from. And if this story speaks to you, make sure to subscribe. Tomorrow's video is one you absolutely can't miss. The humidity hung thick over my parents' backyard in suburban Phoenix that July afternoon, the kind of oppressive heat that makes everything feel slower and more intense than it should. The smell of charcoal and mesquite wood drifted from the grill where my father was holding court with his usual audience of neighbors and business associates, discussing real estate development projects and commercial property investments with the confidence of a man who had never questioned whether his perspective on success was the only valid one. My mother had transformed the covered patio into her typical magazine-worthy entertaining space, complete with color-coordinated table, settings, artfully arranged flower arrangements, and a buffet spread that looked like it belonged in a catering company's promotional materials. She moved through the gathering with practiced grace, ensuring everyone felt welcomed and comfortable while maintaining the kind of effortless social coordination that had made her a sought-after event planner for Phoenix's most exclusive charity, functions. The guest list represented the usual collection of family members, longtime family friends, and business connections who had been attending these gatherings for as long as I could remember. Uncle Frank held his predictable position near the beer cooler, entertaining anyone within earshot with stories about his construction company's latest commercial projects. Aunt Margaret supervised the dessert table with military precision, ensuring that her famous peach cobbler received appropriate recognition and praise from every person who approached the sweets display. My cousins had claimed the pool area, their children splashing and shrieking with the kind of uninhibited joy that only summer afternoons can produce. The sound of their laughter mixed with adult conversations about business ventures, vacation plans, and local politics, creating the familiar soundtrack of family gatherings that had defined my childhood summers in this same backyard. Jessica arrived fashionably late, as always, making her entrance with the kind of calculated timing that maximized attention and social impact. She wore a designer sundress that probably cost more than my monthly rent, her hair styled in the kind of effortless waves that actually require considerable professional attention to achieve. Her husband Marcus followed behind her, carrying their contribution to the potluck feast, while she worked the crowd with the practiced charm that had served her well throughout her career in pharmaceutical sales. Their success was unmistakable and well documented. Jessica had built an impressive career through systematic advancement within one of the industry's most competitive companies, earning recognition for sales performance that consistently exceeded ambitious targets while building relationships with medical professionals who controlled prescription decisions worth millions of dollars annually. Marcus had established himself as a respected financial advisor, managing investment portfolios for high-net-worth individuals who trusted his analytical capabilities and strategic planning expertise. Their lifestyle reflected this professional achievement through visible markers that communicated success according to conventional metrics. The luxury sedan parked in my parents' driveway, the expensive jewelry that caught sunlight as Jessica moved through conversations, the casual references to recent vacations in destinations that required significant financial investment to access. Everything about their presentation communicated competence, achievement, and social status that aligned perfectly with family expectations about what successful adult lives should look like. I had positioned myself at a small table near the garden area, away from the main social clusters but close enough to participate in family conversations when appropriate. The prototype sat in its protective carrying case beside my chair, a device that represented 8 months of intensive research, development, and refinement work that had consumed most of my free time and available financial resources. The project had begun as a personal frustration with existing solutions to a problem that affected millions of people, but had never been addressed through thoughtful technology application. Traditional approaches were either prohibitively expensive, inconveniently complex, or simply ineffective for the majority of people who needed practical solutions that could integrate seamlessly into busy daily routines. My background in biomedical engineering provided the technical foundation for understanding both the scientific principles and practical implementation challenges involved in developing innovative healthcare technology. The master's degree from Arizona State University had included extensive coursework in medical device development, regulatory compliance requirements, and commercial product development strategies that prepared me for navigating the complex intersection of scientific innovation and business viability. However, the transition from academic understanding to practical application had proven more challenging and time-consuming than any university program could have prepared me for. Real-world product development required understanding manufacturing constraints, cost optimization strategies, user experience design principles, and market positioning considerations that theoretical coursework had only briefly addressed. A lot of love and effort went into bringing this story to life. If you're enjoying it, we'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to our channel. Now back to where we left off. Her questions during the demonstration had been more sophisticated and strategically focused than casual family curiosity, addressing specific technical specifications, regulatory approval requirements, manufacturing cost considerations, and competitive positioning strategies that revealed genuine understanding of commercial medical device development challenges. The conversation had felt different from typical family interactions, carrying an undertone of professional assessment that suggested Jessica was evaluating the device according to business criteria rather than expressing family support for personal interests. Her pharmaceutical industry experience had obviously provided frameworks for assessing medical technology innovations and their commercial viability that informed her questioning approach. The pivotal moment arrived when Jessica asked about my plans for bringing the device to market, including questions about funding requirements, partnership strategies, and timeline projections for commercial availability. Her interest seemed to extend beyond family curiosity to encompass professional assessment of business opportunity potential. My response had outlined the development timeline, patent protection strategy, and preliminary business planning that would guide the next phases of commercial development. The explanation included details about the provisional patent filing, regulatory approval processes, and manufacturing partnership discussions that demonstrated serious commitment to transforming the prototype into a viable commercial product. Jessica's reaction to this information had been immediate and unmistakably dismissive, delivered with the kind of confident authority that characterized her professional communication style in pharmaceutical sales environments. The criticism was framed as concern for my welfare and realistic assessment of market challenges, but the underlying message was clear and devastating. "You're nothing but a dreamer, Liza," she said, her voice carrying across nearby conversations and drawing attention from relatives who had been engaged in their own discussions. "Nobody's going to pay for something they can get for free online. The health monitoring market is completely saturated with fitness trackers and smartphone apps that do everything your device claims to accomplish. The dismissal continued with systematic demolition of every aspect of my development work and business planning. She questioned the technical capabilities, criticized the market research, dismissed the patent strategy, and suggested that my engineering background had not prepared me for understanding the complex realities of medical device commercialization and regulatory approval processes. "You have no idea how difficult it is to bring medical devices to market," Jessica explained to the growing audience of family members who had been drawn into the conversation by her forceful presentation. "The FDA approval process alone takes years and costs millions of dollars. The manufacturing requirements, quality control standards, and liability insurance considerations are beyond anything a single person could possibly manage independently." Her critique extended to broader questions about my career choices and professional judgment, suggesting that the device development project represented the kind of impractical dreaming that had characterized my approach to career development throughout my adult life. The comparison to her own systematic advancement within established pharmaceutical industry structures was implicit but unmistakable. "While you've been playing with prototypes in your apartment," she continued, "I've been building relationships with medical professionals who actually understand what patients need and what healthcare providers are willing to adopt. The market doesn't need another gadget designed by engineers who don't understand clinical practice or patient behavior." The humiliation was comprehensive and public, delivered in front of family members whose approval and respect I had sought throughout my adult life. The systematic dismissal of months of intensive work, technical innovation, and careful business planning felt like professional assassination performed for family entertainment. But the most devastating aspect of Jessica's critique was its apparent reasonableness and professional authority. Her pharmaceutical sales experience provided credible expertise for evaluating medical device market opportunities, and her systematic advancement within a competitive industry demonstrated practical understanding of business development challenges that my academic background and independent project work had not directly addressed. The family audience seemed to find her assessment convincing, nodding along with points about market saturation, regulatory complexity, and commercial development challenges that aligned with their general skepticism about unconventional career approaches and entrepreneurial ventures that deviated from proven advancement paths. My response had been inadequate, weakened by the shock of public humiliation and the overwhelming nature of Jessica's comprehensive attack on every aspect of the project and my professional capabilities. The careful preparation for demonstrating technical innovations and explaining business development strategies had not prepared me for defending against systematic professional assassination performed with apparent expertise and family authority. The aftermath of the confrontation left me isolated at my small table, while family conversations gradually returned to more comfortable topics that didn't involve potential business conflicts or questions about whose professional judgment should be trusted when family members disagreed about commercial opportunities and career strategies. The device case remained beside my chair, its contents suddenly transformed from innovative breakthrough to embarrassing evidence of naive dreaming and professional incompetence that had been publicly exposed through Jessica's expert analysis of market realities and commercial development challenges. The rest of the afternoon passed in a haze of forced family socializing, while I processed the humiliation and tried to understand how months of careful technical development and business planning had been so thoroughly dismissed through a few minutes of aggressive professional criticism delivered with apparent expertise and confident authority. But what Jessica didn't know, what none of the family members who had witnessed my public humiliation could have understood, was that her dismissal had been based on incomplete information about my actual development progress and patent protection strategy. The provisional patent filing 3 weeks earlier had established intellectual property rights for the core innovations that distinguished my device from existing solutions. The technical documentation included detailed claims that would provide strong legal protection against competitors who might attempt to develop similar products using the same innovative approaches. More importantly, Jessica's assessment of market saturation and competitive landscape had revealed a fundamental misunderstanding of the technical capabilities and target market positioning that differentiated my device from existing fitness trackers and smartphone applications. Her dismissal had actually provided valuable intelligence about how industry professionals might initially perceive the innovation, while her systematic critique revealed specific marketing and positioning challenges that would need to be addressed. Through strategic communication and demonstration strategies, the public humiliation had been devastating, but it had also created clarity about family dynamics and professional relationships that would influence how I approached the next phases of commercial development. Jessica's confident dismissal of my capabilities and market understanding had revealed both her assessment of the opportunity and her apparent interest in medical device innovation that extended beyond casual family curiosity. The 4th of July barbecue had ended with polite farewells and routine expressions of family affection, but the dynamic between Jessica and me had been fundamentally altered through the public confrontation about professional competence and commercial judgment. What she had interpreted as a definitive demonstration of my naive dreaming and technical incompetence had actually been the beginning of a much more complex story about innovation, intellectual property protection, and the dangerous assumptions that successful professionals sometimes make about opportunities they don't fully understand. The device case returned home with me that evening, its contents unchanged, but its significance transformed through Jessica's dismissive evaluation and the family audience's apparent acceptance of her professional authority over my technical expertise and market understanding. The humiliation would prove to be temporary, but the lessons learned about family dynamics, professional assessment, and intellectual property protection would influence every decision I made over the following 18 months as the real story of innovation, theft, and legal consequences began to unfold in ways that none of us could have anticipated on that hot July afternoon in Phoenix. The pattern of being overlooked in the Morrison family had established itself long before that devastating July afternoon, rooted in dynamics that traced back to childhood decisions about which achievements deserved recognition and which accomplishments reflected the kind of success that warranted family investment and encouragement. Jessica had arrived in the world, 18 months before me, emerging with the kind of immediate presence that commanded adult attention and approval. Even as a toddler, she possessed an intuitive understanding of how to navigate social situations to her advantage, demonstrating the charm and confident communication skills that would eventually serve her throughout her professional career in pharmaceutical sales. Our parents, Richard and Helen Morrison, had built their lives around conventional definitions of success that emphasized financial stability, social recognition, and career advancement through established institutional pathways. Dad had constructed his real estate development business through systematic relationship building within Phoenix's business community, focusing on commercial properties and residential developments that served the city's growing population of retirees and technology professionals. His approach to business reflected his broader philosophy about achievement and risk management. Success came through careful planning, conservative financial strategies, and building relationships with established professionals who could provide referrals and partnership opportunities. Entrepreneurial ventures that deviated from proven business models represented unnecessary risks that practical people avoided in favor of steady advancement within predictable frameworks. Mom had channeled her organizational talents into event planning for Phoenix's charity circuit, building a reputation for flawless execution of fundraising galas, corporate entertainment events, and society celebrations that required meticulous coordination and diplomatic relationship management. Her success in this field provided both personal fulfillment and social status that complemented Dad's business achievements, while demonstrating her capabilities for managing complex projects involving multiple stakeholders and competing priorities. Their parenting approach reflected these same values, emphasizing academic performance, social skill development, and extracurricular activities that would enhance college applications and prepare us for advancement within established professional tracks. Jessica thrived within this framework, excelling at activities that provided immediate recognition and aligned perfectly with family expectations about appropriate achievement goals. She dominated student government throughout middle and high school, developing leadership skills and political instincts that would prove valuable throughout her career. Her involvement in the debate team, honor society, and various social committees provided training in persuasive communication and strategic relationship building that prepared her for success in competitive professional environments. Jessica's academic performance consistently earned honor roll recognition and teacher recommendations that positioned her for admission to prestigious universities with strong business programs. Her standardized test scores, combined with leadership activities and volunteer work, created the kind of comprehensive achievement profile that college admissions officers and scholarship committees found impressive and easily quantifiable. The family celebration of Jessica's accomplishments was enthusiastic and public, with achievements prominently displayed through photos, awards, and frequent mentions in conversations with relatives and family friends. Her success validated mom and dad's parenting approach while providing concrete evidence that their strategies for preparing children for adult achievement were effective and worthy of replication. My own path through childhood and adolescence followed a different trajectory that generated less family enthusiasm, despite representing genuine intellectual curiosity and creative problem-solving capabilities. While Jessica mastered social navigation and institutional achievement, I gravitated toward technical challenges and independent learning that satisfied my curiosity about how complex systems functioned and could be improved. The difference became apparent during elementary school when Jessica excelled in group activities and collaborative projects that showcased her communication skills and leadership potential. While I preferred individual research assignments and science fair projects that allowed deep exploration of topics that genuinely interested me, rather than subjects that would enhance my social reputation among classmates and teachers. My science fair projects consistently earned recognition at school and district levels, demonstrating analytical capabilities and innovative thinking that impressed judges who understood technical achievement. However, these accomplishments generated less family excitement than Jessica's student government victories and social leadership roles, which were viewed as more relevant preparation for adult success in business and professional environments. The implicit message was that technical achievement, while admirable as a personal interest, was less valuable than social and leadership capabilities that would translate directly into career advancement opportunities within established organizations. Science and engineering represented worthy academic subjects, but success in these fields required exceptional individual talent rather than the systematic relationship building and communication skills that enabled reliable professional advancement for most people. This perspective shaped family discussions about college planning and career preparation throughout high school. While Jessica received enthusiastic support for pursuing business administration programs at prestigious universities, my interest in engineering was met with qualified encouragement that emphasized the importance of developing communication skills and business awareness that would enable technical expertise to be translated into management opportunities. The concern was that pure technical careers, while intellectually satisfying, often limited advancement potential and financial growth compared to business-focused professions that provided clear pathways to executive leadership and entrepreneurial opportunities. Engineers could build successful careers, but business professionals could build empires and achieve the kind of financial independence that would provide security and social status. Arizona State University's biomedical engineering program provided the perfect compromise between my technical interests and family concerns about career practicality. The curriculum combined rigorous scientific training with business applications and medical industry focus that could lead to lucrative careers in medical device development, pharmaceutical research, or healthcare technology companies. The program's reputation for producing graduates who secured positions with major medical technology corporations provided reassurance that engineering education could lead to stable, well-compensated careers within established companies, rather than the uncertain prospects associated with pure research or academic engineering positions. However, my experience within the program revealed interests and capabilities that extended beyond conventional career applications of biomedical engineering education. The coursework in medical device development sparked curiosity about innovation opportunities that existing products had not addressed effectively, while classes in regulatory affairs and commercialization strategy provided insights into the business aspects of bringing new technologies to market. The combination of technical training and business awareness created unique perspectives on healthcare technology that differed from both pure engineering approaches and conventional business analysis. I could understand complex technical requirements while also recognizing market opportunities and commercial viability considerations that influenced whether innovative solutions could achieve practical impact. Graduate school research projects provided opportunities to explore these intersections between technical capability and market application through work on sensor technologies, data analysis systems, and user interface design that could make sophisticated medical monitoring accessible to non-professional users. The research revealed significant gaps between what technology could accomplish and what existing products actually delivered to consumers and healthcare providers. These gaps represented innovation opportunities that required both technical expertise and business development capabilities to address effectively. Understanding the scientific principles behind advanced medical monitoring was only part of the solution. Successful innovations also required insight into user behavior, cost constraints, regulatory requirements, and market positioning strategies that would enable new technologies to achieve commercial adoption. The academic environment provided excellent training in technical problem-solving, but limited exposure to the practical challenges of transforming research insights into commercial products that could compete successfully against established solutions. The transition from academic understanding to practical application would require developing entrepreneurial capabilities and business development skills that complemented technical training. Family support for my educational achievements was consistent but noticeably different from the enthusiastic celebration that accompanied Jessica's business school success and early career advancement. My graduate degree completion was acknowledged as a significant accomplishment, but the uncertain career prospects associated with emerging technology fields generated persistent questions about long-term financial stability and professional security. The contrast became particularly apparent during family gatherings where career updates were a standard topic of conversation. Jessica's systematic advancement through pharmaceutical sales positions, with clear metrics for success and obvious trajectories toward management opportunities, provided easily understood evidence of professional progress that impressed relatives and family friends. My research work and academic achievements required more complex explanations that often left family members uncertain about whether my activities represented meaningful career development or extended academic experimentation that postponed serious professional commitment. The technical nature of biomedical engineering work was difficult for non-engineers to evaluate, creating ambiguity about whether my choices reflected strategic career planning or avoidance of traditional employment responsibilities. This uncertainty was compounded by my decision to pursue independent research and product development, rather than seeking positions with established medical device companies that would provide predictable career advancement and conventional measures of professional success. The entrepreneurial approach aligned with my interests and capabilities, but created family anxiety about financial stability and long-term career prospects. The skepticism was understandable from family members who had built their success through systematic advancement within established business frameworks that provided clear benchmarks for achievement and progress. Independent technology development represented a departure from proven approaches that had worked effectively for multiple generations of family members who had achieved financial security through traditional career paths. However, the independent approach also provided opportunities for innovation and business development that conventional employment relationships might not have offered. Working on healthcare technology challenges without institutional constraints enabled exploration of solutions that established companies might not pursue due to market size limitations, regulatory complexity, or competitive considerations that influenced corporate research priorities. The freedom to pursue genuinely innovative approaches came with corresponding responsibilities for business development, marketing, and commercial strategy that extended beyond technical problem-solving to encompass comprehensive understanding of market dynamics, competitive landscapes, and customer needs that influenced whether technical innovations could achieve practical impact. This business development learning occurred through direct experience rather than formal training, creating practical knowledge that complemented academic engineering education while providing insights into entrepreneurial challenges that university programs had not addressed comprehensively. Understanding customer needs, regulatory requirements, and competitive positioning required different analytical frameworks than solving technical problems. The education was intensive and sometimes expensive, as prototype development, market, research, and intellectual property protection required financial investments that gradually depleted savings while providing essential learning about commercial product development realities. Each iteration of design improvement or market analysis revealed new considerations that influenced both technical specifications and business strategy decisions. The process also provided exposure to professional networks within healthcare technology, regulatory affairs, and intellectual property law that would prove valuable for navigating complex approval processes and competitive landscapes that affected whether innovative products could achieve market success. These relationships provided mentorship and industry insights that complemented independent learning, while connecting research work to broader professional communities. However, the networking activities and professional development occurred within specialized technical communities that remained largely invisible to family members who measured career progress through conventional business metrics. The relationships with patent attorneys, regulatory consultants, and healthcare technology entrepreneurs provided valuable professional development, but did not translate into easily recognizable achievements that could be evaluated according to traditional success measurements. The gap between actual professional development and family perceptions of career progress created ongoing tension during family gatherings where career updates were expected and evaluated according to criteria that emphasized financial advancement, social recognition, and institutional affiliation rather than innovation potential or technical expertise development. Jessica's pharmaceutical sales career provided clear benchmarks for professional success that were easily understood and admired by family members who appreciated systematic advancement within competitive industries. Her sales performance metrics, territorial expansion, and management responsibilities demonstrated achievement according to conventional business measures that validated family expectations about appropriate career development. The contrast highlighted fundamental differences in our approaches to professional development and risk management. Jessica had mastered advancement within established organizational structures that provided predictable rewards for measured performance, while I was developing capabilities for creating new opportunities through innovation and entrepreneurship that carried greater uncertainty but potentially greater impact. These different approaches reflected broader philosophical differences about security versus growth, conventional success versus innovative impact, and institutional advancement versus independent achievement that had shaped our choices throughout childhood and continued influencing adult career decisions. The family dynamics around these different career approaches created subtle but persistent pressure to justify unconventional choices through eventual achievement that could be measured according to conventional success metrics. Innovation and technical expertise were valuable, but only if they eventually translated into financial success and social recognition that vindicated the risks associated with departing from proven professional pathways. The pressure was not malicious or intentionally discouraging, but it reflected genuine family concern about financial security and professional stability that influenced how achievements were evaluated and celebrated. Technical accomplishments were acknowledged, but business success would provide definitive validation that unconventional career choices had been strategically sound rather than impractically idealistic. This background provided essential context for understanding the family dynamics that shaped the 4th of July confrontation and Jessica's confident dismissal of my device development project. Her assessment reflected not only professional evaluation based on pharmaceutical industry experience, but also years of family conditioning that had taught her to view business achievement as more valuable and reliable than technical innovation. The systematic dismissal of my capabilities and market understanding represented continuation of family patterns that had consistently prioritized conventional success over innovative potential, institutional advancement over entrepreneurial risk-taking, and established professional pathways over independent career development. However, what Jessica and other family members could not have understood was how these years of being underestimated had actually provided valuable preparation for independent innovation and business development that required confidence in personal judgment, despite external skepticism and apparent lack of conventional credentials for entrepreneurial success. The experience of pursuing technical interests, despite family ambivalence, had developed psychological resilience and independent thinking capabilities that would prove essential for navigating the complex challenges of bringing innovative products to market against established competitors with superior resources and market recognition. The family history of overlooking unconventional achievement while celebrating institutional success had inadvertently prepared me for the isolation and self-reliance required for successful entrepreneurship, while the consistent questioning of my choices had forced development of analytical frameworks for evaluating opportunities and risks that complemented technical training with business development capabilities. The pattern would reach its ultimate expression through Jessica's decision to steal my innovations while dismissing my capabilities, demonstrating how family dynamics and professional competition could intersect in ways that would have devastating consequences for everyone involved in the complex web of relationships, business opportunities, and legal obligations that govern intellectual property protection in competitive markets. The months following graduate school completion brought a harsh education in the realities of transforming academic research into commercial innovation without institutional support, venture capital backing, or established industry connections that could accelerate product development timelines and provide access to essential resources. My cramped apartment in Tempe became an improvised laboratory where kitchen counters served as workbenches, closets, stored prototype materials, and every available surface held technical documentation, component catalogs, and market research printouts that chronicled the systematic approach to independent product development. The setup was far from ideal, but it provided the privacy and flexibility necessary for intensive experimentation without institutional constraints or oversight that might have limited innovative exploration. The initial challenge involved translating theoretical knowledge about biomedical sensors and data processing into practical components that could be manufactured at reasonable costs while maintaining the precision and reliability required for medical-grade monitoring applications. Academic coursework had provided understanding of scientific principles, but commercial product development required mastering manufacturing processes, supply chain logistics, and quality control systems that universities rarely addressed comprehensively. Thought. Learning curve was steep and expensive. Each prototype iteration required purchasing specialized components from multiple suppliers, learning new fabrication techniques, and developing testing protocols that could validate performance against medical device standards without access to professional testing laboratories or certification equipment. The process consumed both time and money at an unsustainable rate while providing essential education about commercial development realities. Component sourcing presented the first major obstacle, as medical-grade sensors, processing chips, and connectivity modules required minimum order quantities that exceeded both budget limitations and immediate development needs. Suppliers preferred working with established companies that could guarantee large volume purchases rather than individual inventors who might purchase a few dozen units for prototype testing. The solution involved creative approaches to accessing components through electronics distributors, online marketplaces, and educational supplier programs that provided smaller quantities at higher per-unit costs. This approach enabled prototype development, while significantly increasing material expenses compared to commercial manufacturing scenarios, where volume purchases would reduce component costs to economically viable levels. Circuit design required mastering advanced software applications for schematic development, board layout, and signal processing that complemented theoretical electronics knowledge with practical implementation skills. The transition from academic understanding to functional product design revealed numerous complications that textbook examples had not addressed, including electromagnetic interference, power management optimization, and thermal regulation challenges that affected device performance and reliability. Each design iteration required weeks of development work, followed by prototype fabrication, that revealed new technical challenges requiring additional research and design modifications. The process was methodical but slow, with progress measured in small incremental improvements rather than dramatic breakthroughs that might have provided psychological motivation during periods of frustration and self-doubt. Software development presented equally complex challenges, as the device required embedded programming for sensor data collection, real-time processing algorithms for health metric calculations, and connectivity protocols for seamless integration with smartphone applications and cloud-based data analysis systems. The programming required mastering multiple development environments and coding languages, while ensuring compatibility across different mobile platforms and operating systems. User interface design demanded understanding both technical functionality and human psychology principles that influenced how people interact with complex technology. The challenge involved making sophisticated medical monitoring accessible to users without technical backgrounds while maintaining accuracy and reliability that medical applications required. The interface needed to communicate complex health information clearly without overwhelming users or requiring extensive training for effective utilization. Market research consumed evenings and weekends as I attempted to understand competitive landscapes, consumer preferences, and industry trends that would influence commercial viability and positioning strategies. The research required analyzing existing products, studying patent databases, reviewing medical literature, and conducting informal surveys with potential users who could provide insights into unmet needs and desired features. The analysis revealed significant opportunities for innovation within health monitoring markets, but also highlighted the substantial challenges facing independent developers who lacked the resources and industry relationships that established medical device companies use to navigate regulatory approval processes and achieve market penetration against well-funded competitors. Existing solutions fell into two categories that failed to serve large segments of potential users effectively. Consumer fitness trackers provided convenient wearable monitoring but lacked medical-grade accuracy and comprehensive health insights that could support meaningful health decisions. Professional medical equipment offered sophisticated monitoring capabilities but remained too expensive, complex, and institutionally focused for individual consumer use. The gap between consumer convenience and medical accuracy represented a significant market opportunity that required technical innovations in sensor miniaturization, data processing algorithms, and user experience design. However, addressing this opportunity also required substantial development resources, regulatory expertise, and distribution capabilities that individual inventors typically could not access independently. The financial pressure intensified as development costs consumed savings while generating no revenue to offset expenses that continued mounting with each prototype iteration and market research activity. The situation required careful resource management and strategic prioritization of development activities that would maximize progress toward commercial viability while minimizing unnecessary expenses. Freelance consulting work provided essential income that enabled continued development activities while offering valuable exposure to healthcare technology applications and industry professionals who could provide insights into market opportunities and technical challenges. The consulting projects involved analyzing existing medical device implementations, evaluating new technology applications, and providing technical expertise for companies developing healthcare technology solutions. These consulting relationships provided access to industry knowledge, professional networks, and practical experience with regulatory requirements that complemented independent development work while generating income that sustained ongoing prototype development and market research activities. The exposure to various healthcare technology applications also provided insights into successful commercialization strategies and common implementation challenges that informed development decisions. The professional networking that emerged through consulting work connected me with regulatory affairs specialists, medical device attorneys, and healthcare technology entrepreneurs who could provide guidance about intellectual property protection, FDA approval processes, and business development strategies. These relationships proved invaluable for understanding complex regulatory frameworks and commercial considerations that influenced product development priorities. Patent research became a crucial activity that required systematic analysis of existing intellectual property landscapes to identify opportunities for genuine innovation while avoiding infringement of established patents. The process involved learning patent search techniques, understanding claim structures, and developing skills for analyzing technical documentation that established intellectual property boundaries within relevant technology sectors. The patent landscape analysis revealed numerous existing patents that protected various approaches to health monitoring, sensor technologies, and data processing methods. However, the research also identified specific innovation opportunities that could provide strong patent protection for genuinely novel technical approaches that improved upon existing solutions in measurable ways. Working with David Kellner, a patent attorney who specialized in medical device intellectual property, provided essential education about patent strategy, claim development, and intellectual property protection that would prove crucial for commercial success. David's experience with healthcare technology patents enabled strategic guidance about innovation approaches that could provide strong legal protection while avoiding conflicts with existing intellectual property. The patent application process required comprehensive technical documentation that detailed innovative aspects of the device design, sensor implementation, data processing algorithms, and user interface approaches. The documentation process forced systematic analysis of technical innovations while creating legal protection for intellectual property that represented months of intensive development work. The provisional patent application filed in June provided 12 months of protection while allowing continued development and refinement before submitting complete patent applications with final technical specifications and commercial implementation details. The provisional filing established priority dates for intellectual property claims, while providing flexibility for ongoing development that might reveal additional innovation opportunities. Manufacturing research introduced new complexities involving production cost analysis, quality control requirements, and supply chain management considerations that influenced design decisions and commercial viability assessments. The research revealed that achieving competitive manufacturing costs would require minimum production volumes that exceeded initial market penetration projections, creating financing challenges that individual inventors typically struggled to address independently. The solution involved developing modular design approaches that could support small batch manufacturing for initial market testing while enabling scaled production as market demand developed. This approach required additional design complexity, but provided flexibility for managing manufacturing costs and market risk during commercial introduction phases. Quality control standards for medical devices demanded understanding ISO certification requirements, FDA compliance protocols, and testing procedures that ensured product safety and reliability according to regulatory standards. The compliance requirements represented significant additional development costs, while providing essential credibility for marketing to healthcare providers and insurance companies that might reimburse device costs for qualifying patients. Prototype testing with volunteer subjects provided crucial insights into user experience challenges and technical performance issues that laboratory testing had not revealed. The human testing highlighted interface design problems, comfort considerations, and data interpretation difficulties that required design modifications and user education approaches that supported effective device utilization. The testing process also provided preliminary data about device accuracy and reliability that could support regulatory approval applications and marketing claims about performance capabilities. However, the testing revealed numerous technical challenges that required additional development work before commercial introduction would be appropriate or advisable. Battery life optimization became a critical technical challenge that influenced both user experience and manufacturing costs. Extended battery life required advanced power management techniques and component selection strategies that balanced performance capabilities with energy consumption requirements. The optimization process involved extensive testing and design iterations that gradually improved battery performance while maintaining full device functionality. Connectivity, reliability presented ongoing challenges that required understanding. Various wireless protocols, network compatibility issues, and data security requirements that affected user experience and regulatory compliance. The connectivity optimization involved extensive testing with different devices and network environments to ensure reliable performance across diverse usage scenarios that potential customers might encounter. Data security implementation required understanding healthcare privacy regulations, encryption protocols, and cybersecurity best practices that protected sensitive health information while enabling convenient data sharing with healthcare providers and family members. The security requirements added complexity to software development while providing essential protection that regulatory approval and market acceptance demanded. User feedback from prototype testing revealed preferences and concerns that influenced design priorities and feature development decisions. The feedback indicated strong interest in the device concept, while highlighting specific usability improvements and feature additions that would enhance market appeal and user satisfaction. The feedback also provided insights into pricing expectations and distribution preferences that informed business development planning. The cumulative effect of months of intensive development work was a functional prototype that demonstrated significant technical innovations while revealing the substantial additional work required for commercial introduction. The device represented genuine advancement over existing solutions, but transforming the prototype into a commercially viable product would require resources and expertise that exceeded individual development capabilities. However, the most valuable outcome of this intensive development period was not the prototype itself, but the comprehensive understanding of technical challenges, market opportunities, and competitive landscapes that would prove essential for strategic decision-making during the critical phases of commercial development that lay ahead. The foundation had been established for transforming innovative concepts into commercial reality, but the real challenges of business development, regulatory approval, and market competition were just beginning. The technical innovations were protected through patent applications, but converting intellectual property into commercial success would require resources, relationships, and strategic capabilities that extended far beyond individual technical expertise. The struggle phase was concluding, but the lessons learned about persistence, resourcefulness, and systematic problem-solving would prove invaluable during the complex business development challenges that would ultimately determine whether innovative technology could achieve the market impact and financial success that months of intensive work had been building toward. The transformation from isolated inventor to credible healthcare technology entrepreneur began through an unexpected introduction to Dr. Amanda Chen, director of the Arizona Innovation Accelerator, a state-funded program that provided resources and mentorship for technology startups with commercial potential in high-growth industries. The meeting occurred during a biomedical engineering alumni networking event at Arizona State University, where I had reluctantly attended, hoping to connect with former classmates who might have insights into medical device industry trends or regulatory requirements that could inform ongoing development decisions. The event had initially felt like another reminder of how traditional career paths provided clearer networking opportunities than independent innovation work. Chen's background combined venture capital experience with academic research in healthcare technology, providing unique perspectives on both technical innovation and commercial viability that distinguished her evaluation approach from purely business-focused accelerator programs or academically oriented research institutions. Her programs specifically targeted technologies that addressed significant healthcare challenges while demonstrating clear pathways to commercial success and scalable business models. During our conversation, Dr. Chen expressed genuine interest in the health monitoring device concept, asking detailed questions about technical capabilities, patent protection status, and preliminary market research findings. Her evaluation approach demonstrated sophisticated understanding of both engineering challenges and business development requirements that validated months of independent research and development work. The Arizona Innovation Accelerator offered a structured 6-month program that provided access to business mentorship, regulatory consulting, prototype development resources, and investor networking opportunities that could accelerate commercial development timelines while connecting innovative technologies with experienced professionals who understood healthcare industry challenges and opportunities. Acceptance into the program required comprehensive application materials, including technical documentation, business plan development, market analysis, and presentation of prototype capabilities to evaluation panels that included healthcare industry, executives, venture capital investors, and regulatory affairs specialists who could assess commercial viability and development potential. The application process forced systematic organization of development work, market research, and strategic planning that had been accumulating over months of independent research. Creating comprehensive documentation revealed both the substantial progress that had been achieved and the significant additional work required for commercial introduction of innovative medical technology. The business plan development required translating technical capabilities into market opportunity analysis, competitive positioning strategies, financial projections, and operational planning that demonstrated understanding of commercial considerations beyond pure technology development. The process provided valuable education about business planning frameworks while forcing realistic assessment of resource requirements and timeline projections. Market analysis required systematic evaluation of competitive landscapes, customer, segmentation, pricing strategies, and distribution approaches that would influence commercial success. The research revealed both significant opportunities for innovation and substantial challenges facing independent medical device developers attempting to compete against established companies with superior resources and market recognition. The presentation to evaluation panels provided experience communicating complex technical concepts to diverse audiences, including business professionals, healthcare industry executives, and potential investors who needed sufficient information to evaluate commercial potential while lacking detailed technical backgrounds in biomedical engineering or sensor technology. Program acceptance provided immediate access to resources and expertise that had been unavailable during independent development phases. The accelerator facility included prototype development laboratories, testing equipment, regulatory consulting services, and business development support that enabled more sophisticated development activities while reducing individual financial burdens associated with accessing specialized resources. The mentorship component connected me with Dr. Robert Martinez, former Vice President of Product Development at Medtronic, who provided invaluable insights into medical device commercialization strategies, regulatory approval processes, and industry relationship development that complemented technical expertise with practical business experience from successful healthcare technology careers. Martinez's guidance addressed specific challenges facing innovative medical devices, attempting to achieve market penetration against established competitors who controlled distribution channels, insurance reimbursement relationships, and healthcare provider adoption patterns that influenced commercial success, regardless of technical superiority or innovation potential. His experience with FDA approval processes provided realistic timeline projections and resource requirement estimates for achieving regulatory clearance that would enable commercial marketing to healthcare providers and direct consumer sales through various distribution channels. The regulatory pathway required substantial documentation, clinical testing, and compliance verification that would extend development timelines while ensuring safety and efficacy standards. The Accelerator program also provided access to Dr. Sarah Williams, regulatory affairs consultant who specialized in FDA submission processes for Class II medical devices. Her expertise enabled strategic planning for regulatory approval that could optimize submission timing, documentation requirements, and compliance verification, while minimizing costs and development delays that often affected innovative technology. Commercialization. Working with Dr. Williams revealed the complexity of regulatory frameworks governing medical device marketing and the importance of early planning for compliance requirements that influence design decisions, testing protocols, and quality management systems. The regulatory preparation required systematic documentation and process development that would support eventual FDA submissions while ensuring ongoing compliance throughout commercial operations. Clinical testing requirements represented a significant milestone that required partnership with healthcare providers who could supervise human subjects, research while generating performance data that would support both regulatory approval and marketing claims about device capabilities. The clinical partnerships required understanding healthcare provider priorities, patient population characteristics, and research protocol development that met both scientific rigor standards and practical implementation constraints. Dr. James Patterson, cardiologist and medical device researcher at Banner Health, emerged as a crucial clinical partner who understood both medical applications of advanced monitoring technology and research methodologies required for generating credible performance data. His involvement provided medical expertise and healthcare provider perspectives that ensured device development addressed real clinical needs while meeting professional standards for medical equipment evaluation. The clinical collaboration resulted in preliminary studies involving 50 patients who used prototype devices for continuous health monitoring while receiving standard medical care. The studies generated performance data demonstrating accuracy comparable to hospital-grade monitoring equipment, while providing user experience insights that informed design improvements and feature prioritization decisions. The clinical results validated core technical innovations while revealing specific enhancements that could improve user satisfaction and clinical utility. The data also provided evidence supporting patent claims about innovative approaches to sensor integration, data processing algorithms, and user interface design that distinguished the device from existing solutions. Business development activities expanded through accelerator networking events that connected healthcare technology entrepreneurs with potential investors, distribution partners, and strategic collaboration opportunities that could support commercial growth and market expansion beyond individual startup capabilities. The investor presentations provided experience, communicating business opportunity analysis, competitive advantages, financial projections, and growth strategies to venture capital professionals who evaluated numerous healthcare technology investments according to standardized criteria for market potential, management capabilities, and return on investment projections. Initial investor interest generated preliminary funding discussions that could provide resources for expanded development teams, accelerated regulatory approval processes, and enhanced marketing capabilities that would enable competitive market entry against established medical device companies. However, the funding conversations also revealed investor expectations for rapid growth, market penetration metrics, and exit strategy planning that would influence ongoing development priorities and strategic decision-making. Distribution partnership. Discussions with medical equipment suppliers provided insights into healthcare provider purchasing processes, insurance reimbursement requirements, and market education strategies that would influence commercial success regardless of technical, performance, or innovation potential. The distribution partnerships could provide access to established sales channels while requiring revenue-sharing arrangements that would affect financial projections and growth planning. Strategic collaboration opportunities emerged through Accelerator, networking with larger healthcare technology companies that might acquire innovative technologies or establish licensing relationships that could provide market access while maintaining intellectual property ownership and ongoing revenue participation. These partnership models offered alternatives to independent commercialization that could reduce market risk while providing access to resources and expertise that individual startups typically could not develop independently. Intellectual property. Strategy development intensified through collaboration with Patricia Rodriguez, patent attorney specializing in healthcare technology intellectual property portfolios. Her expertise enabled comprehensive patent application development that would provide strong legal protection while supporting licensing opportunities and acquisition negotiations that might emerge through business development activities. The patent portfolio development required systematic analysis of technical innovations, competitive landscape evaluation, and strategic claim development that would provide maximum legal protection while supporting various commercialization approaches, including independent marketing, licensing agreements, or acquisition by established medical device companies. Manufacturing partnership development addressed production scaling challenges that would affect cost structures, quality control capabilities, and supply chain management requirements for commercial operations. The manufacturing partnerships required understanding production volume requirements, cost optimization strategies, and quality management systems that would support regulatory compliance while enabling competitive pricing and reliable product availability. Team development began through accelerator networking and university recruiting programs that could provide technical expertise, business development capabilities, and operational management skills that would support commercial growth. Beyond individual founder capabilities, the team expansion required understanding organizational development, equity participation structures, and role definition strategies that could attract qualified professionals while maintaining strategic direction and cultural alignment. The Accelerator program culminated in Investor Presentation Day, where selected companies presented business opportunities to venture capital firms, strategic investors, and healthcare industry executives who could provide funding, partnership opportunities, or acquisition discussions that would enable continued growth and market expansion. The presentation required a comprehensive demonstration of technical capabilities, market opportunity analysis, competitive positioning, financial projections, and team qualifications that would distinguish the health monitoring device from other investment opportunities while highlighting specific advantages that could generate superior returns for investor participation. The presentation generated significant interest from multiple investor groups, including Tech Health Ventures, a venture capital firm specializing in early-stage healthcare technology investments, and Med Device Partners, a strategic investment fund affiliated with established medical device companies seeking innovative technologies that could complement existing product portfolios. However, the most intriguing opportunity emerged through post-presentation conversations with Global Health Solutions, a multinational medical technology corporation that expressed interest in licensing discussions that could provide access to their distribution networks, regulatory expertise, and manufacturing capabilities while maintaining intellectual property ownership and ongoing revenue participation through royalty agreements. The commercial development progress represented a fundamental transformation from independent inventor to credible healthcare technology entrepreneur with validated innovations, regulatory pathway planning, clinical partnership development, and investor interest that could support various commercialization strategies. The technical capabilities had evolved into business opportunities that could generate significant financial returns while addressing important healthcare challenges through innovative technology solutions. However, the most significant development was growing recognition within healthcare technology communities that the health monitoring device represented genuine innovation with substantial commercial potential. The acknowledgement provided validation that contradicted family skepticism while demonstrating that unconventional career approaches could produce achievements that exceeded traditional professional advancement outcomes. The foundation had been established for commercial success, but the actual market introduction would require strategic decision-making about partnerships, funding, and growth strategies that would determine whether innovative technology could achieve market impact and financial success that justified years of intensive development work and resource investment. The weeks following the investor presentation day brought a flurry of due diligence meetings, term sheet negotiations, and strategic planning discussions that would determine the optimal path for bringing the health monitoring device to market. Each potential partnership offered different advantages and required careful evaluation of trade-offs between funding levels, strategic support, and maintaining control over intellectual property and business direction. Tech Health Ventures presented the most aggressive funding proposal, offering $3.2 million in Series A investment that would enable rapid team expansion, accelerated FDA approval processes, and comprehensive marketing campaigns targeting both healthcare providers and direct consumer markets. Their portfolio included successful medical device startups that had achieved significant market penetration through systematic business development and strategic acquisition by larger healthcare technology corporations. The venture capital partnership would provide essential resources for scaling operations while connecting the device development with experienced healthcare technology executives who understood regulatory challenges, distribution strategies, and competitive positioning within established medical device markets. However, the funding agreement also included board representation and strategic oversight that would influence major business decisions throughout commercial development phases. MedDevice Partners offered a more conservative funding approach with $1.8 million in initial investment, but their strategic value extended beyond capital to include direct access to distribution networks, regulatory expertise, and manufacturing partnerships through affiliated medical device companies. Their model focused on supporting innovative technologies that could complement existing product lines while providing established market access channels that independent startups typically struggled to develop. The strategic investment approach offered reduced financial risk and accelerated market entry through proven distribution relationships. But the partnership structure would require closer integration with established corporate systems that might limit innovation flexibility and independent decision-making authority throughout commercial operations. Global Health Solutions presented the most intriguing opportunity through licensing discussions that could provide immediate market access through their international distribution networks while maintaining intellectual property ownership and ongoing revenue participation through royalty agreements. Their proposal included $500,000 upfront licensing payment with graduated royalty percentages based on sales volume milestones that could generate substantial long-term revenue without requiring equity dilution or operational integration. The licensing model offered attractive financial terms while preserving independence and enabling parallel development of additional innovative technologies using the same patent portfolio and technical expertise. However, the arrangement also limited direct market control and required dependence on global health's commercial priorities and marketing strategies that might not align perfectly with optimal positioning for the device's unique capabilities. Strategic decision-making required comprehensive analysis of each partnership model's implications for short-term development needs, long-term growth potential, and personal objectives for maintaining creative control over innovative technology development. The evaluation process revealed fundamental questions about entrepreneurial goals that extended beyond financial returns to encompass professional satisfaction, creative autonomy, and strategic vision for healthcare technology innovation. During this critical evaluation period, an unexpected complication emerged through Jessica's sudden renewed interest in my device development progress. Her pharmaceutical sales network had apparently provided intelligence about the investor interest and partnership discussions occurring within Phoenix's healthcare technology community, generating curiosity about commercial potential that had been absent during the July family gathering when she had dismissed the project as impractical dreaming. The shift in Jessica's perspective became apparent during a casual phone conversation in late October when she inquired about device development progress with questions that demonstrated sophisticated understanding of medical technology commercialization challenges. Her inquiries addressed specific aspects of regulatory approval timelines, manufacturing cost structures, and market positioning strategies that suggested professional evaluation rather than family curiosity about personal projects. The conversation revealed that Jessica's pharmaceutical industry connections included relationships with medical device sales professionals who had provided insights into market opportunities for innovative health monitoring technology. Her network had apparently identified the device concept as potentially disruptive to existing market segments, while representing significant commercial opportunity for companies that could achieve successful market introduction. Jessica's questions about patent protection status, investor interest levels, and partnership negotiations suggested she was evaluating the commercial opportunity according to professional criteria that might extend beyond casual family interest in my career development. Her pharmaceutical sales experience had obviously provided frameworks for assessing medical technology innovations and their potential for generating substantial revenue through successful commercialization. The inquiry culminated with Jessica's suggestion that we should discuss potential collaboration opportunities that could leverage her pharmaceutical industry relationships and sales expertise to accelerate market development while providing family partnership benefits that would enable shared success rather than independent competition within overlapping professional networks. Her collaboration proposal included specific suggestions about leveraging pharmaceutical sales channels for medical device distribution, utilizing existing healthcare provider relationships for market education and adoption support, and accessing pharmaceutical industry expertise for regulatory navigation and competitive positioning strategies that could optimize commercial introduction timing and market penetration approaches. The proposal was presented as a mutually beneficial opportunity that would combine my technical innovation with her established healthcare industry relationships and proven sales capabilities. The collaboration could accelerate market development while providing shared ownership of commercial success that would benefit both family members through complementary expertise and resource contributions. However, the timing and sophistication of Jessica's collaboration interest created suspicion about underlying motivations that might extend beyond family support for innovative technology development. Her previous dismissal of the device concept and systematic criticism of my technical capabilities seemed inconsistent with sudden recognition of commercial potential and eagerness to participate in business development opportunities. The strategic evaluation required careful consideration of potential benefits and risks associated with family business partnerships, particularly given the complex dynamics that had characterized our professional relationship throughout adult careers in different industry sectors. Jessica's pharmaceutical sales expertise could provide valuable insights and relationship access, but partnership arrangements would also create complications related to intellectual property ownership, decision-making authority, and revenue distribution that might generate family conflicts. The decision-making process was further complicated by timing pressures from investor groups and strategic partners who required responses to funding offers and licensing proposals according to their internal evaluation schedules and competitive investment priorities. The partnership discussions had created momentum that required decisive action to capitalize on opportunities, while market conditions and investor interest remained favorable for healthcare technology investments. Dr. Martinez provided crucial guidance during this strategic evaluation period, drawing upon his experience with medical device commercialization to analyze partnership alternatives and their implications for long-term success and personal objectives. His insights addressed both business considerations and career development factors that would influence satisfaction with whatever commercial path was selected for bringing innovative technology to market. His recommendation emphasized the importance of maintaining intellectual property ownership and creative control over technology development while accessing resources and expertise necessary for competitive market entry. The guidance suggested that licensing arrangements or strategic partnerships that preserved innovation autonomy while providing market access represented optimal balance between resource requirements and personal objectives for entrepreneurial success. Patent attorney Patricia Rodriguez provided complimentary analysis of intellectual property protection strategies and their implications for various partnership models. Her evaluation confirmed that the patent portfolio provided strong legal protection for core innovations while supporting multiple commercialization approaches, including independent marketing, licensing agreements, or acquisition by established medical device companies. The intellectual property analysis revealed specific advantages of maintaining patent ownership while licensing commercial rights to strategic partners who could provide market access without requiring technology transfer or innovation sharing that might compromise competitive advantages for future product development using the same technical foundations. The strategic positioning phase also required developing comprehensive business development materials, including detailed product specifications, clinical performance data, regulatory approval timelines, manufacturing cost analyses, and competitive positioning statements that would support investor presentations and partnership negotiations with sophisticated healthcare industry professionals. The documentation process forced systematic organization of technical achievements, market opportunity analysis, and strategic planning that had been developing over months of accelerator program participation and professional relationship building. Creating comprehensive presentation materials revealed both substantial progress toward commercial viability and specific areas requiring additional development before market introduction would be appropriate. Market timing analysis indicated favorable conditions for health monitoring device introduction. With increasing consumer interest in preventive healthcare technology, growing healthcare cost pressures that supported home monitoring solutions, and regulatory trends toward streamlined approval processes for innovative medical devices that addressed significant healthcare challenges. The competitive landscape evaluation confirmed opportunities for market differentiation through superior technical capabilities, user experience design, and cost optimization that could provide sustainable competitive advantages against established medical device companies with greater resources, but potentially less innovation flexibility. Financial projections based on market research, competitive analysis, and partnership discussions indicated potential for substantial revenue generation and return on investment that would justify the intensive development work and resource investment that had brought innovative technology to commercial viability stage. However, the most critical insight from strategic positioning analysis was recognition that commercial success would depend not only on technical innovation and market opportunity, but also on execution capabilities, relationship management, and strategic decision-making throughout complex business development processes that would determine whether innovative technology could achieve market impact and financial success. The foundation had been established for commercial launch through technical validation, regulatory pathway planning, investor interest, and strategic partnership opportunities. However, the actual transformation from innovative prototype to successful commercial product would require navigating competitive markets, complex regulatory requirements, and business relationships that would test both technical capabilities and entrepreneurial judgment. The strategic positioning was complete, but the real challenge of commercial execution was about to begin with decisions about funding, partnerships, and market entry strategies that would determine whether years of intensive development work would achieve the success and recognition that innovative healthcare technology deserved. Unknown to me during this critical strategic planning period, Jessica was conducting her own parallel evaluation of market opportunities and commercial potential that would soon intersect with my careful business development work in ways that neither of us could have anticipated when she had dismissed my capabilities so confidently during the 4th of July family gathering. The strategic positioning that seemed so carefully planned and professionally executed was about to encounter complications that would test not only business development capabilities, but also family relationships, legal frameworks, and ethical boundaries that govern intellectual property protection in competitive healthcare technology markets. The call came on a Tuesday morning in November while I was reviewing final contract terms with Tech Health Ventures, having ultimately decided their funding model provided the optimal balance of resources and strategic control for bringing the health monitoring device to market. David Kellner's voice carried an urgency that immediately commanded attention, his typically measured legal tone replaced by barely contained alarm that suggested developments requiring immediate strategic response. "Liza, we have a serious problem," he began without his usual professional pleasantries. "I've been monitoring patent application activity in your technology sector as part of ongoing competitive intelligence, and a concerning filing appeared in yesterday's USPTO database updates. Someone has submitted a patent application for technology that appears remarkably similar to your core innovations." The words hit like physical impact, creating momentary disorientation as I processed implications that could potentially invalidate months of development work and undermine the entire commercial strategy that had been carefully constructed through accelerator program participation and investor negotiations. Patent conflicts represented one of the most serious threats facing innovative technology development, capable of destroying commercial viability regardless of technical superiority or market potential. The application was filed by VitalTech Innovations, a company I haven't encountered in previous healthcare technology patent research, David continued. However, the technical specifications and innovation claims show suspicious similarities to your provisional patent documentation, particularly in sensor integration approaches and data processing algorithms that represent your most distinctive competitive advantages. VitalTech Innovations was unfamiliar to me despite extensive market research and competitive analysis that had mapped major players in health monitoring technology sectors. The company name suggested recent formation specifically for patent filing purposes, a common strategy used by individuals or organizations attempting to establish intellectual property claims for technologies developed by others. "I need you to review the patent application immediately to assess the extent of potential overlap with your innovations," David explained. "If the similarities are as concerning as initial analysis suggests, we may need to file interference proceedings or prior art challenges to protect your intellectual property rights and preserve commercial viability for your technology." The patent application documents revealed a level of technical similarity that exceeded coincidental parallel development, including specific sensor integration approaches, data processing methodologies, and user interface design elements that had been detailed in my provisional patent filing months earlier. The innovations claimed by VitalTech Innovations represented not variations or improvements on existing technology, but apparent direct appropriation of specific technical solutions I had developed through intensive research and experimentation. The most alarming aspect was precision in technical documentation that suggested access to detailed engineering specifications rather than independent development of similar solutions. The patent claims included specific algorithmic approaches, circuit design configurations, and user experience elements that would be extremely unlikely to emerge from independent research addressing the same general health monitoring challenges. David's analysis confirmed the severity of potential intellectual property theft, noting that the technical overlaps extended beyond general conceptual similarities to encompass specific implementation approaches that had been documented in my provisional patent filing with detailed claims and supporting technical documentation. This appears to be a case of direct appropriation rather than parallel development, he concluded. The specificity of technical details and innovation claims suggests someone had access to your patent documentation or detailed technical specifications that should have remained confidential throughout development processes. The investigation into Vitaltech Innovations' corporate structure revealed limited public information, with recent incorporation in Delaware and minimal business registration details that suggested formation specifically for intellectual property filing purposes rather than ongoing technology development or commercial operations. The corporate structure appeared designed to obscure ownership and control rather than support legitimate business development activities. However, the most shocking revelation emerged through David's investigation of patent application contact information and corporate registration details. The legal representation for Vitaltech Innovations was provided by Morrison & Associates, a Phoenix-based intellectual property law firm that specialized in pharmaceutical and medical device patents. The firm name triggered immediate recognition and growing dread as I realized the potential connection to family relationships and recent conversations about collaboration opportunities. Morrison & Associates was the legal firm that handled intellectual property matters for Marcus Thompson's financial advisory practice, including patent research and trademark applications that supported his business development activities. Marcus, Jessica's husband, had connections to intellectual property legal services through his financial advisory work with healthcare technology entrepreneurs and medical device startups seeking investment planning and business development support. His professional network included patent attorneys and intellectual property specialists who provided legal services for innovative technology companies throughout their commercial development phases. The realization created devastating clarity about how confidential patent information might have been accessed and appropriated for competing patent applications. Family dinner conversations, casual updates about project progress, and strategic planning discussions that had seemed like normal family communication could have provided intelligence that enabled systematic theft of intellectual property through professional legal and business development networks. David's continued investigation revealed additional concerning details about Vitaltech Innovations' formation timeline and business development activities. The company had been incorporated just 2 weeks after the July 4th family gathering, where Jessica had publicly dismissed my device development project as impractical dreaming without commercial potential. The timing suggested that Jessica's harsh critique had been performance rather than genuine assessment, designed to discourage my development efforts while concealing her actual evaluation of commercial opportunity and strategic planning for appropriating innovative technology through legal and business channels that could establish competing patent claims. Corporate registration documents obtained through legal disclosure requirements revealed that Vitaltech Innovations was controlled through a complex corporate structure involving multiple subsidiary entities and trust arrangements that obscured ultimate ownership and control. However, David's investigation identified Marcus Thompson as one of the key financial officers and strategic advisors listed in confidential business registration documents. The revelation that my sister's husband was directly involved in establishing a competing patent claim for my innovations represented betrayal that extended beyond professional competition to encompass systematic family deception and intellectual property theft, orchestrated through sophisticated legal and business strategies. The scope of the conspiracy became clearer as David's investigation revealed that Vitaltech Innovations had been simultaneously developing business partnerships and investor relationships based on the appropriated technology, including discussions with medical device manufacturers and healthcare technology investors who had been presented with patent applications and business plans that claimed innovations originally developed through my independent research. Jessica's pharmaceutical industry connections had apparently provided access to healthcare technology investors and strategic partners who could support rapid commercialization of health monitoring devices, enabling accelerated business development that could establish market presence before competing patent claims could be resolved through legal proceedings. The strategic sophistication suggested extensive planning that had begun shortly after the family gathering, with Jessica and Marcus coordinating professional networks and legal resources to create competing intellectual property claims while maintaining normal family relationships that would discourage suspicion about their commercial activities. The betrayal was comprehensive, involving systematic appropriation of technical innovations, strategic business intelligence gathering through family communication, and coordination of legal and financial resources to establish competing commercial operations based on stolen intellectual property. However, David's analysis also revealed critical vulnerabilities in Vitaltech Innovations' patent strategy that could support successful legal challenges to their intellectual property claims. My provisional patent filing had established prior art and innovation priority that could invalidate competing patent applications through interference proceedings and prior art challenges. The documentation supporting my patent application included comprehensive technical specifications, development timeline evidence, and prototype testing data that demonstrated genuine innovation development over months of intensive research, contrasting sharply with Vitaltech Innovations' recent formation and apparent lack of independent development activities. Your provisional patent filing creates strong legal protection against these competing claims, David explained. The detailed technical documentation and established priority dates provide solid foundation for interference proceedings that should invalidate their patent application while protecting your intellectual property rights. The legal strategy would involve formal challenges to Vitaltech Innovations' patent claims through USPTO interference proceedings that would require them to demonstrate independent development of innovations and priority claims that predated my patent documentation. The legal process would also enable discovery of corporate records and development activities that could reveal the extent of intellectual property theft and family conspiracy. However, we need to move quickly, David warned. Patent interference. Proceedings require prompt action to preserve your rights and prevent competing claims from advancing through approval processes that could complicate eventual resolution. The immediate response required filing formal interference proceedings with comprehensive evidence of prior innovation development, detailed technical documentation, and timeline evidence that established my priority claims for all disputed innovations. The legal action would also trigger investigation into Vitaltech Innovations' corporate structure and development activities that could reveal additional evidence of intellectual property theft. The strategic implications extended beyond patent protection to encompass potential civil litigation for intellectual property theft, breach of fiduciary duty, and conspiracy charges that could result in substantial financial damages and criminal penalties for systematic appropriation of innovative technology through family deception and professional misconduct. The discovery also required immediate reassessment of investor negotiations and partnership discussions, as competing patent claims could affect commercial viability and strategic value of licensing agreements or acquisition opportunities that had been developing through accelerator program networking and business development activities. Tech health. Ventures required immediate notification about potential intellectual property challenges that could affect their investment decision and strategic planning for commercial development. However, the patent protection strategy and legal proceedings might actually strengthen the investment opportunity by demonstrating serious commercial threat recognition and systematic legal protection of valuable innovations. The most immediate challenge involved confronting family relationships that had been fundamentally altered through systematic deception and intellectual property theft. Jessica and Marcus had transformed from family members offering collaboration support into competitors engaged in sophisticated business conflict that would require legal resolution and potentially civil litigation. The betrayal represented not only professional theft, but family relationship destruction through systematic deception that had exploited trust and communication for commercial advantage. The personal implications would prove as challenging as legal and business consequences of intellectual property conflict. However, the patent protection strategy also revealed the strategic value of careful intellectual property planning and legal preparation that had provided a strong defensive position against sophisticated appropriation attempts. The provisional patent filing and comprehensive technical documentation had created legal protection that could survive coordinated attacks by individuals with superior resources and professional networks. The confrontation with systematic family, betrayal, and intellectual property theft was beginning. But the foundation had been established for successful legal defense and commercial protection of innovations that represented years of intensive development work and strategic planning. The power dynamic that had seemed so clearly established, through Jessica's dismissive evaluation and apparent professional superiority, was about to shift dramatically as legal proceedings revealed the actual scope of innovation value and intellectual property protection that had been carefully constructed, despite family skepticism and professional dismissal. The federal courthouse in Phoenix felt like a cathedral of justice as I walked through its marble hallways 18 months after that. Devastating 4th of July confrontation. My legal team's footsteps echoing with the confidence that comes from possessing unassailable evidence and ironclad intellectual property protection. The intervening months had transformed every aspect of my life through legal proceedings that revealed not only the extent of Jessica and Marcus's conspiracy, but also the tremendous commercial value of innovations they had attempted to steal. David. Kellner walked beside me carrying briefcases filled with technical documentation, patent priority evidence, development timeline records, and discovery materials that had been systematically gathered through months of legal proceedings. The evidence told a comprehensive story of innovation, theft, attempted commercialization, and ultimate legal vindication that exceeded even our most optimistic projections for case resolution. The interference proceedings had concluded 6 months earlier with complete invalidation of VitalTech Innovations' patent claims and formal recognition of my priority rights for all disputed innovations. However, the legal victory had only been the beginning of a more complex story about commercial damages, civil liability, and financial consequences that would ultimately transform the entire family dynamic and business landscape surrounding health monitoring technology. Judge Catherine Morrison, no relation to my family despite the surname coincidence, had presided over civil litigation proceedings with methodical attention to evidence and legal precedent that characterized her reputation. For complex intellectual property disputes, her analysis of the case had been thorough and unforgiving toward defendants who had attempted to appropriate innovative technology through systematic deception and professional misconduct. The discovery process had revealed the full scope of Jessica and Marcus's conspiracy, including detailed communications, business planning documents, and investor presentation materials that demonstrated extensive coordination and premeditation in appropriating my intellectual property for competing commercial ventures. The evidence painted a picture of sophisticated intellectual property theft, orchestrated through exploitation of family relationships and professional networks. Email communications obtained through legal discovery showed Jessica and Marcus discussing my device development progress, patent filing strategies, and investor interest levels with clinical detail that revealed systematic intelligence gathering disguised as family concern and support. The communications included specific technical details that could only have been obtained through careful documentation of private conversations and confidential project information. The business development activities undertaken by VitalTech Innovations were equally damning, including investor presentations that claimed credit for innovations originally developed through my independent research, while presenting financial projections and market analysis that had been appropriated from my accelerator program materials and strategic planning documents. Most significantly, the discovery revealed that VitalTech Innovations had actually secured $2.1 million in venture capital funding based on the stolen intellectual property, with investors specifically attracted by innovative technical capabilities and patent protection claims that were entirely fraudulent. The funding had enabled rapid business development and preliminary manufacturing partnerships that positioned VitalTech for market entry using appropriate technology. The commercial success achieved through intellectual property theft provided the foundation for substantial damage calculations that extended beyond simple development cost recovery to encompass lost market opportunities, competitive disadvantages, and punitive damages appropriate for willful patent infringement and corporate conspiracy. Dr. Elena Vasquez, economic damages expert specializing in intellectual property valuation, had performed a comprehensive analysis of market opportunity, competitive impact, and financial losses resulting from the patent infringement and attempted commercialization. Her methodology combined established intellectual property valuation frameworks with specific market analysis for health monitoring technology to calculate damages that reflected both actual losses and future commercial potential. The damages. Analysis revealed that Vitaltech Innovations' market entry using stolen technology had directly interfered with my own commercialization timeline and investor negotiations, creating quantifiable competitive disadvantages that extended beyond immediate financial losses to encompass long-term market positioning challenges and relationship development delays. More importantly, the analysis demonstrated that the appropriated technology possessed substantially greater commercial value than initial investor discussions had indicated, with market potential exceeding $50 million annually within 3 years of successful commercial introduction. The health monitoring device represented breakthrough innovation with applications across multiple healthcare sectors and consumer markets. The economic analysis supported damage calculations that encompassed both compensatory damages for actual financial losses and punitive damages appropriate for willful intellectual property infringement involving family deception and professional misconduct. The total damages sought exceeded $12 million, reflecting both immediate competitive harm and long-term commercial impact of systematic intellectual property theft. However, the legal proceedings had also revealed unexpected developments in the broader commercial landscape surrounding health monitoring technology. The patent interference and civil litigation had generated significant industry attention, attracting interest from major medical device corporations and healthcare technology investors who recognized the substantial innovation value demonstrated. Through successful legal defense against sophisticated appropriation attempts, Global Health Solutions had renewed their licensing discussions with substantially improved terms that reflected enhanced understanding of patent protection strength and commercial value demonstrated through legal proceedings. Their revised proposal included $2 million upfront licensing payment with escalating royalty percentages that could generate revenue exceeding $8 million annually based on conservative market penetration projections. Tech Health Ventures had also adjusted their investment proposal, offering $4.5 million in Series A, funding with reduced equity requirements and enhanced management control provisions that reflected increased confidence in intellectual property protection and commercial viability. The enhanced investment terms provided resources for accelerated development and marketing, while preserving strategic control over innovation direction and business development priorities. The legal vindication had transformed investor perceptions from cautious interest to aggressive competition for partnership opportunities with validated innovative technology that had demonstrated both technical superiority and robust intellectual property protection through successful defense against coordinated appropriation attempts. Dr. Martinez had provided strategic guidance throughout the legal proceedings, while continuing mentorship for commercial development planning that could capitalize on enhanced market recognition and investor interest generated through high-profile intellectual property litigation. His experience with medical device commercialization enabled optimization of licensing and investment strategies that would maximize both financial returns and strategic market positioning. The manufacturing partnerships that had been developing through accelerator program networking had also evolved favorably, with potential partners demonstrating increased confidence in commercial viability and reduced risk assessment based on proven intellectual property protection and market validation. Through investor competition and legal proceeding success, however, the most significant transformation occurred within family relationships that had been fundamentally altered through systematic deception and legal confrontation. The civil litigation had created permanent changes in family dynamics that extended beyond immediate legal and financial consequences to encompass trust, communication, and future relationship possibilities. Jessica and Marcus had been held jointly liable for $12.3 million in damages, including compensatory losses, punitive awards, and legal fees that reflected both financial harm and egregious misconduct in appropriating intellectual property through family deception. The financial judgment would require liquidation of assets and ongoing payment obligations that would affect their financial stability for years to come. The professional consequences extended beyond financial penalties to encompass career damage and industry reputation destruction that would limit future opportunities within pharmaceutical and financial advisory sectors. Jessica's pharmaceutical sales career had been effectively terminated through professional misconduct findings, while Marcus faced regulatory scrutiny and client relationship challenges that threatened his financial advisory practice viability. The family gathering that Christmas bore little resemblance to previous holiday celebrations, with fundamental relationship changes that reflected legal proceedings, outcomes, and ongoing financial obligations. The dynamic had shifted from Jessica's apparent professional superiority and family influence to acknowledged recognition of my technical capabilities and business development success. My parents struggled to comprehend how family relationships had deteriorated into federal litigation and financial judgment that would affect Jessica and Marcus for years to come. Their attempts to encourage family reconciliation were complicated by legal realities and trust destruction that made normal family interaction impossible despite their desire to maintain relationships with both daughters. The broader family network also struggled with relationship dynamics that had been permanently altered through legal proceedings and public recognition of intellectual property theft. Relatives who had witnessed Jessica's dismissive evaluation of my capabilities during the 4th of July gathering were forced to reassess their understanding of professional competence and family dynamics that had seemed clearly established through conventional success metrics. However, the legal vindication and commercial success had provided validation that extended beyond financial returns to encompass personal satisfaction and professional recognition that had been absent throughout years of family skepticism and professional dismissal. The journey from dismissed dreamer to successful entrepreneur had demonstrated the importance of persistence, strategic planning, and confidence in personal judgment, despite external criticism. The health monitoring device had achieved commercial success through licensing agreement with Global Health Solutions that generated immediate revenue while preserving intellectual property ownership and ongoing development opportunities. The royalty payments exceeded initial financial projections while providing resources for expanding research and development activities into additional healthcare technology applications. The business development success had also enabled team expansion and operational scaling that supported continued innovation within health monitoring technology while exploring applications in related healthcare sectors. The company that emerged from legal vindication and commercial success provided a platform for ongoing technology development that could address multiple healthcare challenges through innovative solutions. The accelerator program networking had evolved into lasting professional relationships and advisory opportunities that extended beyond individual commercial success to encompass broader healthcare technology, community development, and mentorship for emerging entrepreneurs facing similar challenges in bringing innovative medical devices to market. Dr. Chen had invited me to serve as mentor and advisor for subsequent accelerator program cohorts, providing guidance based on experience with independent development, intellectual property protection, and commercial strategy that could benefit other healthcare technology entrepreneurs navigating complex business development challenges. The speaking opportunities and industry recognition that followed legal vindication and commercial success provided platforms for sharing insights about innovation protection, family business complexities, and entrepreneurial persistence that could inspire and educate other individuals facing similar professional and personal challenges. However, the most valuable outcome of the entire experience was understanding that personal worth and professional capabilities exist independently of external recognition or family approval. The journey from dismissed inventor to successful entrepreneur had required developing confidence in personal judgment and technical expertise, despite systematic criticism and apparent lack of conventional credentials for business success. The innovations that Jessica had dismissed as impractical dreaming had proven to possess substantial commercial value and technical superiority that generated significant market interest and investor competition. The capabilities that had been systematically underestimated by family members had actually provided competitive advantages and problem-solving approaches that established market positioning and intellectual property protection. The family dynamics that had created persistent pressure to justify unconventional career choices had inadvertently provided preparation for entrepreneurial challenges that required independent thinking, analytical problem-solving, and persistence. Despite external skepticism and resource limitations, the legal vindication had provided external validation, but the personal transformation occurred through recognizing that innovative capabilities and entrepreneurial potential had existed throughout the development process regardless of family recognition or professional acknowledgement by individuals who lacked frameworks for evaluating unconventional achievement. The story that began with public humiliation and systematic dismissal had concluded with legal vindication, commercial success, and professional recognition that validated years of intensive development work and strategic business planning. However, the most important lessons were about personal confidence, innovative persistence, and the importance of protecting intellectual property and personal integrity in competitive business environments where family relationships and professional obligations might conflict in unexpected ways. The pathetic sister that Jessica had dismissed with such confidence 18 months earlier had become the successful entrepreneur who controlled valuable intellectual property and growing commercial operations, while Jessica faced financial judgment and career destruction resulting from systematic intellectual property theft and professional misconduct. The transformation demonstrated that apparent disadvantages could become strategic strengths, that underestimation could provide competitive advantages, and that careful planning combined with innovative thinking could overcome resource limitations and establish successful businesses in competitive markets. The health monitoring device continued generating revenue and market impact while providing foundation for expanded healthcare technology development. But the personal journey from dismissed dreamer to vindicated entrepreneur provided lessons about resilience, strategic thinking, and the importance of trusting personal judgment that would prove valuable throughout continued business development and professional growth in the evolving healthcare technology industry. Looking for more? We've got 2 amazing stories ready for you right on screen. If this one touched you, these are absolutely worth your time. Click to watch them now. And, hey, subscribe and hit that bell to never miss our latest uploads.